Chapter 15 A Forced Smile. On Monday, there was a knock at the front door. Loki and Joseph had went to my old high school. "Scarlet," Vanessa shouted. I ran downstairs and saw my tutor. He wasn't bad-looking. He had short brown hair, pale skin, and beautiful green eyes. I'd say he was about 19 or 20. "Hi, Scarlet. I'm Lou." He smiled. I smiled. "Your mom and Richard have gone out. I'm going to town with a few friends, so I'll see you later," Vanessa smiled. And I walked out of the door. Andrew was sat at the kitchen table drawing. He saw me and flashed me a smile. Lou sat down at the dining table. I sat next to him. "All right, I'm going to be nice. What do you want to practice first?" Lou asked. History," I said. Lou pulled out a history book and set it in front of me. He also gave me a piece of paper. "Just look through the book and find something you want me to question you on," Lou said. "I'm a boss at history, so just ask me stuff about Jack the Ripper," I said. Lou looked shocked but nodded. "How many women did he kill?" Lou asked. 5. "How did he kill his victims?" "He tore out their insides." "Oh my gosh, Scarlet, you know everything," Lou said. "I'm interested in stories about serial killers," I said, thinking about Jeff. "Scarlet, I'm only supposed to teach you one subject a day, but it seems you have history pretty much jammed into your brain of yours, so I'm going to go early," Lou said. I nodded and Lou got his things and left. "Just you and me, Scar," Andrew grinned from behind me. I looked at him. "What do you mean?" I asked. He chuckled and patted my head. I looked at him and hugged him. He wrapped his arms around me and kissed my head. "I love you, Andrew," I whispered. He walked back to the kitchen table. I ran to my room. I plugged my headphones into my iPod and played the PewDiePie song. Jeff's point of view. "Just kill her," Slendy said. "No! I love this girl. I won't hurt her," I yelled at him. "She's a human, Jeff," Slendy said. I looked at him. "I love her," I muttered. Like you love your brother," he snapped. I snapped. "Don't you dare talk about my brother," I shouted. Smile started barking next to me. "Jeff, you have something to focus on," Slendy reminded me. I sighed and nodded. "Kill one of her family," Slendy said. I looked at him and walked out of the woods to Scarlet's house a few hours later. Scarlet's point of view. I heard my mom screaming. I ran downstairs. "Mom?" I asked. She was knelt down over a body, a man's body. "Is he dead?" I asked. Mom nodded and screamed, tears rolling down her face. Loki and Joseph were standing next to Vanessa, who was next to my mom. Andrew came up behind me and hugged me. I started crying. Richard was laying dead on the floor. I started feeling sick. The person who I was ready to call Dad was dead. Jeff did this. A Forced Smile, Chapter 16. I sat in my room as I heard ambulances parking outside. "Oh my gosh," I whispered. "What happened?" Jeff said from behind me. "What happened? You know what happened. You killed Richard," I screamed. Jeff looked at me. "No, I didn't," he said. "Don't lie to me," I said. Jeff pushed me against one of the walls and wrapped his hands around my throat. "I didn't. I promised you that I wouldn't kill anyone you loved," he said. He was telling the truth. "Then who?" I asked, tears staining my pale face. "I don't know." I cried and he just stood there. "Get out," I said. He sighed and wrapped his arms around me. "No," he said. He kissed my cheek and sat down on my bed. "I love you," Jeff said. I gasped and looked at him. "Really?" I asked. He laughed. Want to go for a walk to clear your head?" he asked. I nodded and Jeff jumped out my window and I ran downstairs. The forensics were clearing up blood and I in trying to collect evidence. I walked out of the door and Jeff was standing at the gate next to my front garden. I walked over to him and he took my hand. We walked in silence. "Are you okay?" Jeff asked. I shook my head. He sighed. "Want to go into the forest?" he asked, motioning to the forest in front of us. It's dark," I whispered. Jeff chuckled and pulled me in. "Jeff, it's dark," I sniffed. "Nah, it's okay." Jeff smiled, pushing me against a tree and kissing me. Then I heard a deep laughter. I pulled away from Jeff and he let go of me. "Jeff," I thought, "why is a human here?" said a voice. I looked around and saw a very tall man with 6 tentacles coming from his back. The scariest thing was he didn't have a face. "Slendy," Jeff growled. Who's he?" I asked. Jeff grabbed a hold of my hand. "A friend," Jeff answered. "Not your friend, Jeff," the man replied. I shivered. "Aha, he's kidding, Scar," Jeff said. "Maybe I should go," I said, backing away. Jeff grabbed my hand and pulled me back. "Fall," Jeff whispered in my ear. He put his knife nearly into my back and I fell to the floor. I knew you didn't love her." Slendy laughed. Jeff laughed with him and Slendy disappeared. "Scarlet?" Jeff asked. I got up and hugged him. "Let's go," I said. He nodded and we both walked back to my house, where my whole household were being questioned. I looked around and no one was smiling, just answering questions. "Bye, I looked around and saw Jeff was already gone. I sighed and walked inside. Okay,